Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, As Real as I Can Be. My name is Khanyisa and welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time. So for this week, I had thought that I was going to talk about something light and fun, but then the week was just not light, nor was it fun. And I realized that it wouldn't be authentic of me to talk about anything else than what has been going on around me. And so I want to share my thoughts and my feelings with you guys about just the shitstorm of a week that we have all just had. My girlfriend and I were talking about if you were to just say one word, just a word about how you were feeling, what would it be? Her word was disturbed. And she was just saying, I am feeling like my spirit feels very disturbed. Everything is feeling kind of fucked. And I was like, well, I think my word would be complicated. And that's what I want to say to you guys this week is that this shit is complicated. And what I realized is that us as human beings, we have this need to box ourselves into an either or. And we don't want to deal with the gray areas of our lives. And for me, this week has just shown how complex we can be, how my feelings about whatever is going on around me are very complex, that even though I am this one person, my feelings are all over the place. And it is so hard to say, but I've realized that for me, it's okay. It's okay that I feel differently about what's going on. So let me explain. If you have been watching the news and following what's going on Instagram, if you or social media with the George Floyd case, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to get into it. You can just go and Google it and find it. It's really hectic. And so cities around America, people have been protesting, and those protests they led to rioting, and that led to looting, and that led to more violence, and just it's an unending circle of violence. It always goes back to that word. And I was like, okay, so I grew up like almost post-apartheid. I was 5 years old when apartheid ended. I say ended because if you look at our economy in South Africa, the people who were in power pre-apartheid era, they still are economically. So it's complicated, right? All of it is complicated. But what I want to get to is that I've seen, studying South African history and studying all histories, is that protests do lead to riots. In South Africa, we had one of the biggest protests in the country were students refusing to be taught in Afrikaans. You can watch a movie called Sarafina, and you will get more of that. I'll put a link to it. I think it's on YouTube. But, the students went there and they were burning schools and burning their books and burning stores. And it was huge, basically. And it was what is happening now. And that led to violence. And then bringing it into the American context of what is going on now, there's a side of me that's like, this is what happens. This is what happens when people are not being heard. This is what happens when people are frustrated. This is what happens when the government decides that there is a sector of the population that they don't really give a two shits about. And American history proves that this has been going on for centuries. And now we are seeing the effects of people unheard. And so there's a part of me, the rebellious part of me, the part of me that says, yes, let's fuck shit up. Let's do it. Done. I'm all in. And then there's this side of me that is all about peace and love and wants to put on a fucking free hugs t-shirt and wants to go around and just hug everybody and wants no violence. And then sort of understanding as well, you know, a lot of people are talking about how a lot of these businesses that are being destroyed are Black owned, are women owned, are owned by minorities. And if you blow up a Target, especially you people who are really upset about Target, let me tell you this real quick. Target will survive. Target will be fine. Target does not need your sympathy. The people who do need your sympathy, though, are those mom and pop shops who will need to recover, who will need all of our help to recover. And so in understanding all of that, I am sitting with the complexity of the fact that this shit is complicated, and we have got to get to a point where we allow ourselves to feel the complexity of what's going on around us without judging ourselves, and also without judging the people around us. This is the first time where I am in America where something that is related to the Black Lives Matter movement is happening. And I've always watched it on television, and I've always watched it, you know, like either on my phone or my computer or whatever. And it's like, oh, this is so sad. But there's a sense of just really feeling it when you're here. And I mean, I know people around the world are also feeling it, but like we're in Portland right now, and driving around the city, you can just feel how heavy the city is. You just feel everything that is going on. And if you are somebody who's in tune spiritually, the energy of the city, there is so much sadness and frustration and hurt and anger, and people are riding on buildings and vandalizing. It's been a shitty week. It's been a fucked up week. But there's also a part of me that holds so much hope, because if you are somebody who has read history, that in history, when shit like this happens, change happens. And so the optimist inside of me, which is most of me, is saying, this hurts, this is violent, this is bad in so many ways. The collateral damage, and that would be the people who get, you know, in the crossfire, the shops that are burning up. It is going to lead to a change that needs to happen. Black people are so tired of being targets. And this is not just in America. This is everywhere in the world. We experience racism everywhere in the world. Even in countries where you're like, the fuck, you kind of look like me, those people will still be racist towards Black people. In my book, Traveling While Black and Lesbian, I talk about just the racism that happens when I'm traveling. And so it is not just an American issue. And I think that that's the frustration that all Black people are feeling around the world. And that is why every city has had a protest, because the disregard of Black lives is a global issue. I want to end it with this. I'm not interested in convincing white people of their privilege. We have those conversations quite a lot, and I'm going to let other white people to explain to white people what white privilege is. But you know, I saw a video where someone was spray painting Black Lives Matter on a billboard. And that was the first time where I personalized that. And I looked at my babes and I was like, you know, baby, somebody has to tell somebody that my life matters. Someone has to explain to somebody else that I am valid. Almost explaining the right for my life to be, that somebody has to be told of my personhood. And that hit home, and that was said for me. And I was like, this is so telling that there's a sector of, you know, a section of our population that needs to be told that we matter, that we exist, that we are worthy, that our lives are valid, that we are not, you know, just things to be killed on the streets with knees on our necks. And yeah, so it has really hit home in so many words for me, and I'm just interested to hear how you guys are feeling. It's been, like I said, this shit is so complicated, and I am wanting to just to extend so much love to everybody that's out there in the streets doing the damn thing, fighting for our lives. We see you, we love you. And I also want to extend love and kindness to everybody that's getting caught in the crossfire. We see you, we love you. And yeah, and I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you are thinking and what you are feeling. So subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, I'll talk to you next week. Have a good week. Hopefully this week is going to be so much better and we will start to see the change that we are desperately seeking. Bye.